Maybe just a couple more minutes.
Yeah, sounds
Feeling
good.
good.
Look at these spiders.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's
a sign of
fun.
a, why don't teach me? But you end up. You gotta find it.
It's circulating. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, we're gonna fill up. You guys, we have some chairs up here. We'll just kind of
There's some chairs.
squeeze on in. There you go.
I'm gonna move this one to the other side.
Yeah, there you go. You want to stand? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we've got more chairs over here. We're gonna just kind of squeeze in. Of course you can. Yeah, just be careful and watch your step, okay?
Yeah.
You guys don't mind standing, right? You're used to the 12.5-hour shifts, right?
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. All right. All right, if you have an open spot next to you, will you just kind of raise your hand for me? All right, we've got an open spot over here. Can somebody sit right there next to you? We got another open spot over here. Squeeze in.
Oh, you nurse.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. This is good. We need nurses.
We sit people in the front. I don't think we're gonna.
Standing.
There's an empty seat over here.
There's an empty chair over here. You still looking for a seat?
Come on in.
They don't have empty chairs next to them.
Raise your hand if you got an empty seat. There you go.
Right here.
Hi.
Yeah. I'm done. I don't need to stand next to you yet, but I'm gonna do some announcements.
Sounds good. Do you want the mic?
No, because this is not.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to the science colloquium. Can everybody hear me? You can all hear me back there? Very good. It's super rainy out, so I really appreciate you guys coming today. I wanted to tell you about a few other events that we have going on. We also have a MAPS presentation coming up on February 23rd. That's going to be about artificial intelligence. Those happen over in the Sierra Hall. You can look those up online if you want to get more information about those presentations. We also, our next science colloquium is a really super interesting one. They've discovered a new species of what are called Homo. That's the genus that we are in. That's going to be by Dr. Debbie Bolter on February 21st, right here in this room. Please come to that. It is really super exciting. If you're interested in human beings and our evolutionary history, that's going to be a great one to be at. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speaker now. Stand next to you.
Yeah, sure.
Jennifer, or Jenny Macias, is a registered nurse and has served as a professor of nursing for the MJC ADN program for 8 years now. Before joining the full-time faculty team, Jenny served as a part-time nursing instructor for Merced Community College and MJC. Jenny was born and raised here in Modesto and continues to serve us in this community. She is a graduate of the MJC College ADN program. She started her healthcare career journey at the age of 15 while enrolled in the Davis High School Healthcare Careers Academy. At the age of 18, Jenny joined the Doctors Medical Center team, where she served in a variety of roles as a patient care provider. After completing coursework in the nursing program and achieving success on the NCLEX RN exam. Jenny joined the Doctors Medical Center nursing team in 2017, providing care in various departments, including medical surgery, telemetry, ICU, cardiac rehabilitation, and gastroenterology. She's passionate about the profession of nursing and nursing education, and she has enjoyed serving members of this community, both in the classroom and at the bedside. So please join me in offering a warm welcome to Professor Jenny Macias.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to be here. As you heard, I'm very well connected with the community, and outreach is what I love the best. If you look over here to my right, your left, I've got some MJC nursing students with me here today. So I've got Jordan, Scott, Alberto, Michelle Marie, and Fern, and they're going to be here to talk to you. We're going to do a little Q&A session after the presentation. So I think it'll be a wonderful idea to get some perspective from a currently enrolled nursing student. So, all right, let's go ahead and begin the presentation. So become a registered nurse. So I'm assuming that everybody in this room is really interested in becoming a registered nurse. Thank you for being here. We need nurses. Have you heard that? Yes, we are in a nursing shortage crisis across the nation. A lot of it has to do with the post-pandemic situation, right? Plus retirement. So we definitely need you. So I'm glad that you're here to get the information. So a little bit of an overview of what we're going to discuss today. So we're going to talk about, well, why nursing? Why would that be the career for you? Why do you choose MJC? Why choose MJC's nursing program? We've got many nursing programs here in the area and up and down the Central Valley. How do I get in to the MJC nursing program? And then we'll host a Q&A session, okay? So here's me. And I already kind of had the bio, so that's kind of nice. But just to kind of put it into perspective, so here's me in 2017 when I graduated from the MJC Associate Degree Nursing Program. I was in my whites. I'm proud to wear my whites. No, we do not require whites for pinning ceremony anymore, but it is an option. Did you guys know that? Okay, all right. So very, very proud. I was the first one in my family to graduate from any type of a healthcare program. So there's actually 2 nurses in the family now. Here's me as a nurse. This is when I was working in the gastroenterology department, working as a happy registered nurse at Doctors Medical Center. I no longer work for Doctors Medical Center, but I still consider that my home. All right. And me as a professor, and then of course me as a professor and this is a very interesting dynamic. I had a couple of sisters in the program and one graduated before the other. So I'm a lifelong advocate for student nurses and student education, or nursing education, I'm sorry. So a little bit about me. All right, top 10 reasons to become a registered nurse. And I came up with the top 10, but there's like a million reasons why to become a registered nurse. I'm absolutely passionate about this profession. But the first one in there is rewarding. Nursing is absolutely 100% a rewarding career. And I think you can ask any of my almost peers here. You are the lifeline for that patient. You are the connection between the patient and their healthcare outcomes. So every day is challenging. So that's number 2 on the list. It's absolutely challenging, but at the same time rewarding. And one of the things that I love about this profession is that you never stop learning. You never stop learning. So how many of you, by show of hands, you're that person that always wants to learn? You want to learn new things, experience new things. You like change. Yes, you got to have that hand up for this profession, 100%. Okay. And that's also on there, lifelong learner. And we'll talk about that. You can go anywhere in nursing. And in fact, we're an associate degree nursing program, but we strongly encourage that our students go on and get a bachelor's degree. How many of you guys are enrolled or will be enrolled in a bachelor's degree program within a year after graduating this program? Okay. And then hopefully the goal later on. So here's the deal. The hospitals, most healthcare facilities around here want students to, or new grads, I should say, we want them to have their bachelor's degree. And the reason for that is they're all trying to achieve magnet status and pathway to excellence. And so it is a criteria. So one of the things that we'll talk about today is entrance into the nursing program. And we give you credit for having a bachelor's degree or completing coursework to get your bachelor's degree. Community connection. We are 100% community connected in this ADN program. All right. We have clinical sites here in Stanislaus County. Primarily, we contract with Doctors Medical Center, Emmanuel Medical Center, Memorial Medical Center, Kaiser. We have Adventist Health Sonora. We actually have a cohort or a group of students that attend class up the hill at our Columbia campus. We also connect with hospice and all different types of clinics within the community. Lifelong learner, like I said, you're always going to be learning. It's never a dull moment in nursing. Every day that I showed up on shift, there was something different or something new that I had to explore or learn or experience. And the one thing that you'll learn about nursing is that you'll sometimes never have the answer, but you know who to go to get the answer. So as a team, right? Nurses, we work as a team, and it's very important to be resourceful. You're a part of a profession. Did you guys know that nursing is a profession? Yeah, what makes it a profession? We have a common goal. We're based on evidence-based practice. And in fact, as the lifelong learner, you're continuing to do research and implementing evidence-based practice at the bedside. Career advancement. Oh man, I could go for hours and talk about career advancement in nursing. How many of you think that as a nurse, you have to work at the bedside in an acute care hospital, period? That's all you got. No, some of you in this room might be thinking, you know what? Hospital work is not my thing. Maybe you want to work in the community as a home health nurse. Maybe you want to work in the community as a hospice nurse. Maybe you want to become a school nurse and work for the school system. Maybe you want to work in the prison, okay, as a prison nurse. There's all different types of opportunities. And with that, there are specific educational pathways that you can take to become specialized in that kind of nursing, okay? How about nurse practitioner? Anybody interested in becoming a nurse practitioner? Yeah, okay, there's a need. We need access to healthcare resources, healthcare professionals. And so there's a drive specifically here in the state of California where you're getting almost what I think it's 80% of your education paid for if you want to go for your nurse practitioner. So something to think about later on down the road. Okay. Employment opportunities right now. Everybody is pretty much employable when they come out of a nursing program because there is such a need for nurses right now. There's such a nursing shortage or a crisis across the nation. And so although in our program, we don't guarantee employment, we don't guarantee it. We are closely community connected, and we talk with our representatives at our hospitals. And so several of you will be going to a hiring luncheon not too far from here, right? Where you might have to interview for several jobs. Yeah, you might have that opportunity, and you might get several offers, by the way. Okay. Flexible schedule. So nurses work all different kinds of schedules. So I think some of you chuckled earlier when I said these people are used to standing for 12.5-hour shifts. That's true. So in fourth semester specifically, they do 12-hour shifts. It's kind of varied across the semesters. But typically, if you work in a hospital, you're working a 12.5-hour shift. Okay. Outside that, maybe in clinic rotations, you're doing about an 8-hour shift. Sometimes they have short hour shifts. Sometimes you can take call. When you take call, that means somebody's calling you up and saying, come on into procedure. So it really does vary. Flexible schedule, meaning if you're working in the hospital, most nurses work 3 days a week. Did you know that? Yeah, they can pick up some additional shifts if they wanted. If you're working in like a traditional clinical setting or maybe as a school nurse, it's usually 5 days a week. But there is some flexibility there. Nurses can work full-time, they can work part-time, they can work per diem. So that sounds pretty good, huh? Yeah. And then the last one on the list is probably the one that you're most familiar with is compensation. Now, how many of you in this room have heard how much nurses make? Yeah, anybody want to take a shot on how much the average hourly rate is, I would say, in Stanislaus County?
55.
55, 68. Yeah, it's about $61 an hour. That's the average hourly rate. Okay, the yearly salary is anywhere from about $65,000 to up to $145,000, depending on the type of job that you have as a registered nurse. I would say for the new grads, what I'm hearing is somewhere between $52 an hour upwards of $57 an hour starting out. Okay, now I want to make a point here because a lot of people come into nursing, they think, I want nursing because I want this flexible schedule and I want the money, right? But all of these other things have to take priority before you get to these two bottom things. And I'll tell you, because although nursing is a very rewarding and challenging career, it can put some stress on you, okay? And so all of these things have to be a priority in your life compared to the bottom two, okay? All right. So why choose MJC? Well, quite frankly, we have a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
I paid them.
I like it.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, we do. We have a lot of fun. And so when you look at these pictures right here, this is from a couple of cohorts ago, the top two, and then a cohort ago. The top two is a disaster drill that the students were involved in with a community hospital. And the students got to serve as volunteers for this disaster drill. So we got to put a whole bunch of makeup on them. And they were the trauma victims at this hospital. And so EMS and all the nurses, everybody who was required to respond to this disaster drill had to. And the students put on a great show. I mean, really, if nursing was their primary goal, drama would be their secondary major. I'm telling you, they did a really, really good job. So that one in the top right corner, that's Mary. So we dolled her up pretty well. And then in the bottom two are some pictures of our students. And we have a beautiful skills lab with just about anything you can think of that you would need to hone in on those skills so you can perform those skills on real patients in the real hospital setting. We also have a simulation lab with 4 rooms with high fidelity mannequins. So students are enrolled in HPSL, is like what we like to call it, where they're taking care of simulation patients, but we treat them as real patients. All right. So we do have a lot of fun, but we also maintain rigor in our program. And that also goes along with our NCLEX pass rates. Do you guys know what the NCLEX is when I say that, what that is? NCLEX RN? That's the licensure examination that you'll have to take once you graduate our program. That licensure examination provides you with your license to work as a registered nurse, okay? So I will say, I don't have the data from the fall 23 cohort, but I do have the data from the spring 23 cohort, and 100% of our students passed on their first attempt. I'm still collecting from the fall 23 cohort. Yeah. Very, very proud of that. So we do maintain rigor in the program. We do have NCLEX prep resources integrated throughout all 4 semesters of the program. So we do make sure that not only are you ready clinically, but you are ready to take that exam when you graduate. Again, we have simulation-based learning. We have that community, a connection. We're always reaching out to the community for, in fact, you guys have a presentation coming up from AORN, which is the organization for perioperative nurses. And so those nurses that work in the surgical setting. And so they're going to come out and present to these students. Oh, and I'm also working on a presentation for certified nurse anesthetist program. They're going to come present to you. You guys didn't know that yet. Yeah. All right. And then overall, the cost. So, you know, the prerequisite cost, you're already living that right now. But the total overall cost of the program, the nursing program itself, runs about $8,000 total. So think about that. Coming out, making anywhere from $52 to $57 an hour, total cost of the program is $8,000. Not a bad deal, right? All right, MJC Nursing is where it's at. We saved you time and money. All right. So how in the heck do I get into this program? And this is a very, very common question that I get. I serve as a faculty advisor. I meet with students all the time. Really, it comes down to do well academically, stay connected with us, and consider gaining healthcare experience. I mean, if I wanted to put it in a nutshell, that's what I would say to you. But we're going to talk about how to get into the program. And most of the time when I see students, they say, am I competitive enough to get into the program? And we'll talk about what that means, okay? So some of you may be familiar with this or may not be, but we have a multi-criteria screening process record, and we call it the MSPAR. And this is what we use to evaluate students to see where they're at in terms of getting into the program. Our program accepts 50 students a semester, but we have one application period, and that's actually happening now. It's in February. Okay, the last 2 weeks of February is when the application opens. 80% strictly based on merit, 20% is randomized selection, meaning even if you weren't competitive enough in points to get into the program, we still put your name in a hat, kind of, if you will, all right? And we can draw your name based on a randomized selection process. So there's criteria that has to be met in order for you to qualify to enter into our program. And right now, the base number of points is 60. That could be changing. So I always recommend that if you are somebody who's in the process of completing prerequisites to get into the program, that you're constantly going back to the ADN website and looking for any type of updates. Okay. And we do sometimes make changes and updates to the MSPAR as well. So you always want to check back. So really on here, there's about 6 different criteria here on the MSPAR. So criteria 1, we take a look at and give you points for academic degrees. So an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. We give points for healthcare work experience, volunteerism, and then working in the military with healthcare experience. Criteria 2, we take a look at your prerequisites and we get points, or we give you points based on your GPA for your prerequisites. So right now, how many of you are enrolled in your science courses or a science course like anatomy 125, micro, okay, good. Really, I'm going to say this, you got to achieve an A in those science courses. You have to. It's worth 27 points on the MSPAR. And so you get those A's, you're more competitive to get into the program. We also offer points for the ADN to BSN GE certification pattern. What that means is we want you prepared to enter in to go to the bachelor's degree program right outside our program. And the reason for that is hospitals want you to have it. Healthcare facilities want you to have a bachelor's degree. And then we want you to take that and go even further. Go on and get your master's degree. Go on and specialize, become a nurse practitioner, okay? Because we need you. Criteria 3 is life experiences or special circumstances. And so we recognize that people come from various backgrounds with different challenges and things that they have to overcome. We give you points for that. We want to recognize that. Criteria 4, we look at proficiency in languages other than English. And so if you speak another language outside of English, we will give you points for that. Criteria 5 looks at test of essential academic skills, or what we like to call the TEAS test. Are you guys familiar with the TEAS test? Okay, this is an exam that you have to take prior to entering into our program. And based on the number of points that you earn on the TEAS test, if you will, those are the points you receive on the MSPAR. Did you guys know that you had access to TEAS prep here at the college? Yeah, through the Library and Learning Center, you have, was it test prep? Yeah, yep. So it's a free resource. Otherwise, if you go to, what was it? Yeah, Prep Step. There you go, Prep Step. It's brand new, Prep Step. Otherwise, if you go outside of that, for example, atitesting.com, I think they're going to charge you, what, $350 or something like that for their tutoring products. My point in telling you this is with that TEAS test, you don't want to take the test blindly. You want to go in there prepared, because the higher you score, the points, more points you're going to get on that MSPAR. Okay. And that's for a total of 15 points on the MSPAR. And then the last criteria is that you got to meet the degree requirements. You have to meet the graduation requirements. And so my point in going over all of this is, as you're working on your prerequisites, it's a really good idea to meet with a counselor at least, I would say, once a semester, and maybe schedule a faculty advising appointment with one of the faculty advisors. And I think there's 3 or 4 of us that will meet with you when we have a schedule. Okay. So here's some information for you. These are our 2 counselors that work directly with all of the health professions departments. And so you can schedule an appointment with them, meet one-on-one, go over your education plan, identify, what steps you need to take to maintain competitiveness to get into the program. They can also have a conversation with you about other health careers that are available here at MJC. We have a lot to offer. If you didn't know that, we have a medical assisting program. We have CNA, phlebotomy, pharmacy tech. We're pulling in a LVN program. Did you know that? That's coming along. So more information to come on that. So V. Champa and Marcos Garcia, those are our two counselors dedicated to health professions. They have walk-in appointments available, but you can also contact them and schedule a one-on-one appointment outside of that. And for our department, we're located in Glacier Hall 165. So those of you that might be interested in meeting with a faculty advisor, so somebody like myself, a nursing professor that knows the program, we can have an appointment with you. You can schedule one. Just contact there and then talk. Martha Lee is the contact person, but if you email or call that phone number, somebody will connect you. Okay. And I know that I have many advising appointments still available this semester. All right. All right, so now we're going to open this up for the Q&A session with our current nursing students. And you guys, I've got this microphone, and so you're going to have to speak into it, all right? So I'm going to pass it around. So I want you to introduce yourself again, and I want you to give a little bit of a bio. Tell them your background, okay?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jordan. I'm one of the class reps for our fourth semester along with Scott. And then we have another rep up in the Sonora cohort. A little bit of a background. I actually did my CNA here at MJC. I did it over a summer semester, so it was a very intense course. But I did that before I applied so that I could get those points on my MSPAR. Was originally my my motivation for wanting to obtain my CNA, because honestly, I didn't want to stay in the CNA position. If you're not familiar with it, a majority of CNAs do work in our skilled nursing facilities or with home health. But over the last year, I have had an opportunity to do home health in the community. And that, I believe, has really benefited my clinical experience, because I am working one-on-one with patients. And if you don't have any medical background or any experience like that, I feel like exposure is really the best thing that you can do for yourself. We had quite a few people in first semester that was their first time, talking to another person in a medical setting or in the hospital. So I would encourage you, if you're, considering it, maybe get your CNA, get your medical assistant licensure, the certification. Even if you don't stay with it, the experience is going to benefit you a lot. So that's what I've been doing during the semesters. It's hard to work and go to school at the same time. But those of us that have to do it, there's a way to get it done. So.
Hello, my name is Scott. I am one of the class reps for our fourth semester. Before I did this program, I was actually in MJC's medical assistant program. I'd actually just graduated and started working as an MA when I got into nursing school, so I dropped that. But I started actually going to MJC back in 2018 because I was like a lot of people who may have gone to school before, but was here to get my prerequisites done. The ones I had already done that I didn't have good enough grades, I went in to get better grades to get accepted into the program. Hence, saying you want to have A's. Those A's got me in. Before that, a long time ago, I was a veteran. So if there's anybody here who's a veteran, welcome. Make sure those are worth points. So if you have done service, that is one of the things that you can put down on your the MSPAR, right? Yeah. Okay. Into place. Yeah. And then so like medical assistant also got me points too. And it's just good healthcare experience prior. You don't have to go the healthcare route. It helps in a lot of ways, but don't feel like you need to or any pressure to do that, because everything you do will be something positive for this program. I'm also I'm the oldest student in our cohort. So if those who in here may feel that this is a game for younger people, that's not necessarily true. We, the older generation, from the war back in the day, we bring a lot of experience and I'm going to say wisdom to the program too. So this is something that is good for the youth. It's something that's good for the slightly older generation. But don't ever feel that like age or anything else is going to be a barrier to you doing this program. We'll have more questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so more questions. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hi, testing. So I'm Alberto. Nice to meet you. A little background. I'm 25, and I guess my approach to coming into the program was a little bit more unorthodox because I actually got my degree at Stan State, my bachelor's. So if there's anybody, I don't know if anyone's in here doing a 4-year degree, but that counts for your MSPAR, so that's really good. And I'm also working at the moment as a rehab aide, so I got my kinesiology degree, and then I was able to transition that into a rehab aide position because I was thinking about physical therapy, but in nursing, there's so many opportunities and specialties that you can get into. It's a really great field, so 10 out of 10 recommend that. And I'm Latino, so I'm really proud to say that. And to be able to help the Latino community is going to be an amazing part of my experience as a nurse. And I already do as a rehab aide because there's a lot of Latinos and that go into Emmanuel, and I'm able to speak for them and not professionally translate because we still need a translator, but to be a voice in that community is amazing. So if you're Latino, that's another motivational factor to use towards getting into the program. What else can I say? Well, I guess just keep applying because I got in my second round. So, if you don't get in the first time, don't bring it, let that bring you down. Stay motivated, just keep at it, and then really focus on that T's and those prerequisites and get a strong amount of points and you'll get in. And reach out to your counselors, so they're gonna help you out.
Hi, my name is Michelle. Hi, my name is Michelle Marie, and I'm actually a returning student. I actually came to MJC right after high school, and I kind of didn't know what to do with my life. And I ended up getting my AA, and I transferred to Sac State, and I got my bachelor's there. I returned to MJC in 2018. And I'm a mom of 3 small kids, so I took, 1 class, 2 classes at a time, just whatever I could manage. And I'm really actually, the first time I was here at MJC, I was like, I don't even want to claim MJC as like my school. I was like embarrassed by it, because I was like, all my friends went to UCLA and I'm at MJC. But this go around, like I was like clawing my way to get into the nursing program. And now I'm like, I go to MJC. And everybody's like, oh, you're in that nursing program? And it's like, yeah. So I'm really proud to be here as an MJC student. I'm the second oldest in the class. I'm 43, so this was really daunting for me to come back to school and, have some 19-year-old show you where the library is. But it's been a great experience. I want to be an emergency room nurse, and I'm really proud to be doing this with my children as witnesses because they're seeing like how hard and how much sacrifice you have to make to be here. So anyways, thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is this on. My name is okay. My name is yeah, it is okay. Well, sorry. My name's Fern. I've been at MJC since like 2012. MJC owes me a master's degree. I went to UC Davis after MJC. I transferred over there and then I got my degree there. And then after getting my degree, I had a complete career switch after seeing some hospice nurses. And I was really inspired by them at the time. And so inspired that I literally started figuring out what I needed to do to get into the MJC nursing program because I've always loved MJC. I've gone here obviously since 2012. Obviously, I love it. But I can only say like good things about this program so far. I've had the best experience at the MJC nursing program. I'm really happy to be here.
All right, so I have prepared some questions, and so, oops, Scott's ready. All right, so I prepared some questions, and so this is really open to any one of you that want to answer. And then if we have a little bit of time, if the audience has any additional questions for me or the currently enrolled students, just raise your hand and let's ask, okay? So the first question I have is, as you were completing the prerequisites to enter the nursing program, what actions did you take that were of most value in terms of success with entering into the program?
Good statement. I would like to thank my parents. Oh, sorry, wrong statement. Okay, so some of this stuff is kind of like logistics. Some of you may have gone to other community colleges or other schools. One thing to do is for your prereqs, go back into their course catalog, download like the cover sheet, the page to have the equivalency. So that way you have it available, because sometimes the programs will ask for basically, yeah, the equivalency, just to make sure that your class that you took is appropriate for the program itself. Then also make sure you have all your transcripts available. I don't know how they're submitted now. I honestly don't remember, but make sure that you have the ability to get them from your school, and then just have a copy of your own, so that way you can put in the correct information when you're filling out the application. Let's see. There are optional courses in the program. I think there's like an intro to nursing skills, there is nutrition, there is medical terminology, and is it just the three? Just the three, take those. They're worth points and they're good knowledge to have. That's something you can do concurrently with other courses. Sometimes I think medical terminology is completely online, or at least the one I took was. So take these courses as you can. BLS, so the basic lifesaver course, so CPR, get that done prior. I don't know if that's worth points, but it's something that you need to have for nursing. So about time when don't do it too far in advance, but it's something to take before you go in. Yeah, make sure it's the official one. And there's plenty of places around here that do it, because there's tons of students like us. For the TEAS test, you're taking anatomy and physiology. Those are probably two of the best classes to take right before the TEAS. Don't take the TEAS before you take those classes if you haven't taken them, or if you feel like you need to retake them, again, wait to take the TEAS test. Because there's a lot on there. And then if you need to, retake the TEAS, see if you can get a better score. It can't hurt. I know if you do it through MJC, I believe it doesn't cost anything to send your grades over because it's already here. But if you take it outside of MJC, like University of Phoenix or another school, please note it will cost you money to send to MJC. So try to do it through MJC first if you can. And then, like I said, retake any prereqs you can. Sometimes it may require a waiver, because I took anatomy and physiology a long time ago for my first degree.
so that you don't have to work during the nursing program, that would be great, because it's really hard to have to work and do this program. You got in, you're gonna wanna do well, and you don't wanna have to repeat or do anything like that, so it's very serious, so there's a lot at stake, there's, a lot of people wanting to get in. So if you can save money and put it away so that you don't have to work, do it, cut it down. What's that?
How much are you?
Oh, no, that's up to you. I mean, if you get your nails done every week, maybe that's something that, you not know. That's up to you. But if you go to Starbucks every day, maybe just home brew coffee. I don't know. That's really amazing.
Yeah, that's easy. No nails in the program.
Yeah.
Slice that one off.
I don't know how I heard about this or how I found out about it, but MJC, the applicants to MJC actually have a Facebook group that you can join. Before you apply or while you're applying to the program, and they have so many people in there answering questions for like things that you don't know. They're a really, really good resource. You can just go on there, type any question that you have, and then they also like let you know like, oh, when you get the admission letter to be sent out today, like. No, the Facebook group. Yeah, no, yeah, it's called MJC Applicants. And it's a Facebook group, and I really, really, really recommend doing that.
One thing when you do get accepted, we're gonna say plan, not get plan. They're gonna give you a whole bunch of stuff you need to do, like big checklist and stuff, background check, immunizations, all sorts of stuff. Get on that immediately. Everything in nursing program, get on that immediately. You do not want to be left behind. You do not want to be waiting for your clearance, so you can't do a clinical or you can't do something else. Get on it immediately. Don't sit on anything. So that way, because it's a lot, and sometimes it takes a while to talk to your pizza, or you go to your MDC's health office, or you just need something. Things can take a while, so get on it immediately.
MJC does offer some of those things, but not everything, like on the checklist, like some immunizations and stuff like that. But we do need to have resources here. But if you don't know where, you can also like reach out to anyone and get those things like this.
Another question I have is, what is the time commitment and workload to enroll while you're enrolled in this program?
Yeah, this is a really weighty question, and I feel like no matter how much we stress, how important the workload is and being my time with your scientists, getting your clinical hours in and all of this, I feel like until you're actually in it, it's really easy to just kind of brush off. And I was the kind of person that did that. So first semester was like a big wake-up call. It does get easier to balance life and school. Now that I'm in fourth semester, I feel like I have that balance. But it took a while, right? But just because you're in the program, that doesn't mean that you have to become the program. You know what I mean? So it is a lot of studying. It is a lot of learning and asking questions and going home and YouTubing it, because maybe this video you'll understand better than the way that it was explained with pictures or with reading. So you have to figure out what kind of a learner you are, and you have to figure out how to prioritize, obviously, family, friends, life, with school. I was homeschooled pretty much my whole life, so going into this and like actually having to study for things was like the worst experience, because I was just used to not having to study or doing, not that homeschooling. Anyway, I had to learn how to study, okay? And it really, really matters. I tried a couple of different study tips every semester, and I feel like finally in fourth semester now I've got 90 tips. But don't be afraid to try out different study techniques. If you're the kind of person that likes to have everything organized and highlighted and, you wrote it in pretty fonts and all that, do that if that's what you need. But if that takes away from your learning, then don't worry about that kind of stuff. You need to figure out how you can integrate the material, not just memorize it, but actually learn how to use the material in our clinical settings. So you need to figure out what works best for you. You might not look like your neighbor. You might not look like, the person that you were a few years ago and how they used to study, right? It's a totally different atmosphere, and the tests are different than anything you've taken before. But they do an amazing job of preparing you and preparing us for these tests. So when they're explaining in class, hey, focus on these medications, focus on this topic, or whatever it may be, really, really pay attention to that and apply those directions, because that's what's gonna benefit you. You can't go into it just thinking, oh, I didn't have to study for, you know, my anatomy quiz and I did great on that. No, you need to sit. Yeah, all right. You need.
Guess I'll just build off the commitment. I'm commitment a little more. So I do work on the weekend still, so I can work one day and then be okay with it. But it's good to have one extra day. So just assume you're gonna be doing things Monday through Friday. And then so, you know, tell work or get things in order. And that's where your support system comes in, right? So I'm grateful for my family. They supported me a lot. And I've been telling them like, for 2 years, I'm not gonna be able to work Monday through Friday. So they helped me out with that. And so I've been able to support myself with that one day for gas and little things like that. So if you have a support system, that's great. They're gonna help you out a lot and be grateful. And so on top of that, I guess, you know, one extra day, so that Sunday is good to just have like a reset day to be able to help yourself. And also like a big part of the commitment is self-care, because that's really important. And that's something that, you know, we still to this day, I mean, I still have trouble with it sometimes. Like, I need to get enough sleep. I need to get enough sleep. But, you know, it's really important. You can't fill another cup if your cup is empty, right? Because, you know, it goes with that analogy. Like, when you're on the plane and something happens, you gotta put your oxygen mask on first before you help out the kid. Because if you pass out, you're not gonna help out anybody.
I do currently work right now, so I think it just shifted every single semester. The first semester I was working like 4 days, but then the second semester came around and I was not doing so well academically, so I like looked back a little. So I was only working 2 days, and then my third semester, that semester was so cramped for time that I was only working like 1 to 2 days that semester. Now it's fourth semester and I'm working 4 days, but you have to, or 3 days, I think. You have to like figure out what works best for you, because one person can work 5 days a week and go to the program and someone else can't. You have to figure out how much time you have on your hands available to you, and you also have to have like a flexible job that's willing to work with you, because if you don't, then I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. And look, for some of us, nursing school, especially at the beginning, can be a 7-day-a-week operation. But if you're organized and you get ahead of things and you're just well prepared, things are broken down easier. So maybe on Sunday, you're only studying for an hour, or you're just overlooking something, or you're just reviewing a chapter or something minor. And that may happen, and it's okay. Do definitely take the time for self-care, but sometimes it's that way, and you have to be okay with that. To go along with that, you'll also start to realize that after a while, your mind will automatically drift to nursing anytime you're not thinking about anything else. Like, I don't know how many times I'll be standing in the shower and then realize like half hours passed because I'm literally replaying a clinical scene or what I do with my patient or a test or something over in your head. And I'm like, wash. No. Really, it is very all consuming, and that's not a lie. We can't lie to you and say it's not gonna be like that. The whole eat, sleep, breathe nursing school, that's pretty true. So if you're not prepared to be able to do that, sometimes, maybe not every time, but sometimes you have to be okay with that. This is hard. As someone who went through 2 different boot camps, multiple deployments, and all sorts of stuff, this is hard. Okay, this is the most stressed I've ever been in my life, and I'm kind of like not necessarily. But this is stressful. But you know what? The reward is fantastic, and it's sustainable. So, just trying to be honest.
And I just want to add to that, yes, it is stressful, but it's only 2 years, right? And so that's how I'm kind of thinking of it. Like, I am making so many sacrifices right now to better myself in the future, for my future family. And kind of like what Michelle Marie was saying, is there are people that are watching you. Whether you have kids, siblings, you know, friends, they're gonna be watching you go through this program. And they're not gonna understand everything that you're going through. They're definitely gonna see how much time and effort and heart that you're putting into the program. And that's gonna impact them. So even though you might have to say, no, I can't hang out, or no, I can't help you with this, you know, from time to time. In 2 years, when you are on the floor and you're working and you set your own schedule and you're, you know, doing your dream job, you're gonna look back and you're gonna say, like, thank God I sacrificed what I need to do now, right, for that long term. I think we did, yeah. All right, no, that's okay. You know, I think this is good. You know, something else I want to add to is that, and going back to, so I am MJC, you know, I grew up here, and I also identified that this was probably, well, this is where I did too. But this is the college I went to, and then I, you know, of course, my advanced degree, but they were family, community connected here. And what I will tell you is that in the program, we care about our nursing students. And so when somebody doesn't show up to class, or, you know, or we can look out into the crowd and we see that something's different, somebody's not their themselves, we reach out, we take care of our own. And so the point in telling you guys, you've got support from the faculty and the department to make sure, you know, to ensure your success. And we also have pathways, just sometimes life happens, and we understand that. So we have processes in place for your success, and it may not be exactly the way you want it to be, in terms of completion, for example, but we do work with you. And so again, that's part of that continued support and that family atmosphere in our program, okay? You know, we have about 10 minutes left, so I kind of wanted to open up, if you guys don't mind. I wanted to open up, is there anybody here in the audience that wanted to ask a question? You can ask me or the current nursing student here. And I'm gonna go ahead, and if you guys would mind passing this back, so we can make sure that we capture this on my camera. Oh,
Yes.
but it's for the camera, it's for the camera, yeah.
I just had a question for the program. Would you like to share some of your studies? So I feel like that's a big thing from you. It's anything that you might. Oh, my Lord.
So I think that I've tried a lot of different study tips, and that was me coming from a totally blank slate. I didn't study in high school or anything like that. And that's not to brag, this is honestly was detrimental to me. In sort of second, third, now I feel like fourth, I kind of have it down more. I just didn't take it very seriously at first. But honestly, so as of right now, and for the future program, I believe, they do record their lectures. And then they'll post them on the shelf. And I feel like going back and rewatching, listening again, like that second time, things start to, especially if I read the chapter or, you know, watch a recommended video, you know, on a certain disease concept or a certain treatment for it. And then I go back to the lecture, and then all those pieces just start clicking. So what I've been doing this semester, because we just had our exam this morning, is I rewatched all of our lecture videos. I skimmed through our book, and just covered some of the topics that I felt were really highlighted in the lecture, right? Because there's so much content. Unless I were to study 7 days a week, I'm not gonna, you know, master every single thing. So I try to touch on every topic and then really focus on what I am not understanding or something that they emphasize in class. If something is in red on their PowerPoint, learn that, memorize it, okay? And again, whatever they emphasize, focus on that. And then honestly, if I'm reading the book, if I'm listening to the lecture and something is still not clicking for me, I YouTube it. There's 1,000,001 different YouTube videos. I like the ones that have like little animations and drawings because I feel like I pay attention to that better. I don't know. But yeah, I would encourage you that if you're not completely understanding the concept, YouTube it, Google it. find out what, method, maybe you don't like the animation, maybe you like to just, read it or actually see it happen. So there are a lot of things that you can read and take a test on, and you're like, okay, I understand how that works or how to do that. And then you go into the clinical setting in the real world, and they're like, hey, spike this IV bag, go ahead and prime it, and then hook it up to the patient. You're like, I've only read about this, I've never actually done this, right? So translating it into the real world, using your skills lab hours in the first semester, huge, so helpful. You'll have a couple of days that are like slated specifically for your skill set. But then there's open lab time that you guys would be able to sign up for. I encourage you to do that in the first semester as well, because no matter how many times I watch somebody else do something until you're the one that actually does it, I feel like that's muscle memory, and I feel like that's how you can kind of understand it better. Any other things? I study alone. I don't study with friends. I've tried it and we just start talking. We're Chipotle and like, we've been here for 4 hours and we didn't know.
Be open to change up your studying method. So you have to kind of hack how you learn. And like even our first exam today, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna change the game because I'm going forward. I need to show it in a different way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look good enough and take notes on there and stuff like video sheets. So you have to be open to change, but you kind of have to hack how you learn, but also like how the teacher, some teachers to the book and some to the lecture, and you get that first time I'm pretty sure. But just be open to that, and then I would say, the best way to learn something is by somebody else. So sometimes my kids ask me something and they're saying about, like, what is my thinking? And, I end up telling them like a 15-minute explanation on what success is. And it's like, what? So, but it's by teaching someone. So, that's my tip.
Anybody else?
So you guys talked about like how stressful it is to be in the program, but how stressful is it to be in clinical? Like, what are the challenges with students face or still facing?
Okay, our clinical stressful, yes, but our clinical's fun, absolutely. Clinicals are the bread and butter of what we do. The lecture, yes, it's important. Classroom stuff, it's always important. PowerPoints, we love them, they're so important. Clinicals where you're really getting better. It's the hands-on experience, that it's skills lab, working with real nurses, real patients. You're basically doing the job. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're not perfect, right?
But it is great. You'll go from first semester where you walk in with the deer headlights look, not knowing anything, to fourth semester. You'll still walk in with the deer and the headlights look, but you can do more stuff. It's amazing. The clinical aspect is the best part. I mean, you're doing the job. So is it stressful? Yes, because you're dealing with patients, real life, real safety, real medications, real everything else. But you won't be alone. 2, you'll have the training before you go do it. And 3, I don't know, if you're gonna not do something correctly, it's best to do it in this environment when somebody's able to catch you or somebody's able to watch you and make sure you're doing it correctly than when you're on your own. So stress, yes, fun, absolutely.
I could not agree with you anymore. Like, I love clinicals. I feel like it's my time to really shine and show what I've learned and really take care of that patient to their needs. And that's one thing that I guess it was in the beginning of 4th semester that I truly did not understand the difference between an MJC nursing student and maybe a different nursing student. I have a friend that goes to a private college And, you know, we check in every week, how we did in clinicals, what we did, and every week I'm like, oh, this week I got to see, you know, I got to go to the cath lab and I got to see a heart getting catheterized. He's like, oh, okay, and then, you know, and then yesterday I had a little time for a drill and, you know, we got to do this, my very first, birth that I experienced, I got to see a set of twins that was born, C-section in the sac, like very rare. So just all those experiences, like they really are so meaningful, and the time and effort that the staff and the faculty and the nursing department have placed into making these community connections so that we can go and practice and have these experiences are just, I'm so grateful for it. And it was this semester, Jenny, that I learned how many hours we put in clinical by the time we're done in comparison to the other nursing schools. We've basically done nursing school twice plus a little bit more with clinicals. So my friend that goes to a different school, yeah, he's not getting all the experiences because they don't have the community connection, and you know, they just don't have that much exposure and access to those clinical hours like I need to that. So clinical nursing.
I'm gonna say clinicals are stressful for like different reasons for different people. In the beginning, like the biggest problem that I had was talking to patients. And I think I still struggle with that problem for the first and second semester, but it wasn't until my third semester that I really tried to like figure out what I was having such a problem with and then challenging myself to make it better. So you have to be vulnerable with yourself and figure out what problems you are specifically facing. So in my third semester, I made it a point to really talk and connect with my patients, and I feel so much better walking into their room as like a fourth semester student now. I feel really, really comfortable now.
Okay, so, and this is about positivity, we're not disparaging any other schools or any other programs, but they like us a lot. They know MJC students, they like the fact that we have high standards, that we have a lot of experience, that we go in with an attitude of what can I do, what can I learn, can I do this? Yes, I want to do that, yes, I want to see that, yes, I want to put my hands in that. So, you know, and not only is there a lot of MJC graduates, but they really like us because of the level of training we get, the level of motivation we have, and just that we've all continually earning that respect. And the hospitals and other facilities, they know this. And so we automatically come in with that good, you know, high esteem, and we all do our best to keep it that way.
I guess I could just add that, well, yeah, I had a little bit of trouble talking to patients too, but you know, you get in the rhythm of things, and then with each nurse or with each clinical you go to, you kind of follow a different nurse, and then every nurse kind of has their own mojo and different flow, because you're going to have your clinical instructor where you're technically going to be under that nurse for the day. So you might see a nurse that you get along with really good, and a nurse that you like her habits or his habits, and you kind of see what I can take away from this experience and what qualities I can take from this nurse and what qualities I might not want us to take from that nurse. Because, you know, in different specialties, they come at it with different mindsets. And you can gather your own information and understand, like, this is the type of nurse I want to be, or this is the type of nurse I don't want to be. And, you know, you just have to be on your feet and then understand it's going to be a great experience and you're not alone.
All right, well, that's it for today, but thank you for being reasonably appreciated. Again, my name is Jenny Macias.